Warning: the following program may contain material not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Kill the noise and cut the static. Broadcasting from high in the mountains of West Virginia, we're leaving the 9 to 5 in the rearview mirror. The engine is warm, the lights are green, and it's finally time to shift your Wednesday into overdrive. And now, here's your host, Diego the Podcaster.
On this episode of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, we're turning the volume all the way up for a band that isn't here to follow trends. They're here to remind people exactly why rock matters. Reborn in Virginia, they're a hard rock powerhouse delivering raw emotion, thunderous grooves, and dark melodic intensity. They brilliantly blend classic rock grit with modern heaviness, drawing influence from legends like Black Sabbath, Alice in Chains, Halestorm, and many more. Their sound is completely unapologetic. All this plus more. Please welcome our new friends and first-time guests. They are King George's own KuF. My friends, welcome to Bonus Overdrive Wednesday.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. As we were talking in that pre-interview, there are times where I like to do a lot of research and try to find awesome guests for the show. And I started hitting these little rabbit holes, right? And then you go through all this stuff, and then I saw the logo, and it already screams to me metal. I click on the logo, and then here we are a few months later. So I'm happy to have you on. But before we begin, my friends, would you mind introducing yourselves to our friends, the listeners, and what you do in the band?
I'm Todd. I'm the guitar player in the band, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Dan, the bass player. I play bass and make minor criticisms on new songs. And then tells me I'm wrong. That's what I do. And tell Kurt he does a good job because he's so awesome. But
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I like to hit things and drive Todd crazy because the songs are missing something.
Yep.
So everybody has their mission and their job in the band. That's beautiful. It seems like you guys been doing this for a very long time. And one of those things that I'm sure plenty of interviews that you've done on podcasts and also on magazines recently, I saw a magazine you had with you shared the same with Sabotage was on there, which is
the Sabotage one was they did a review of our Chapter 1 EP, but in the issue after we actually had a full page interview. Yeah. Oh, that was with the Sabbath. I think the review one was with Black Label Society, wasn't it? The issue before.
Yeah,
and they did a review.
On a May issue, yeah. So
yeah.
And that's actually a hell of an accomplishment because I'll say this, I've seen Sabotage at least 5 times already.
Wow.
And not as Trans-Siberia, but as actual Sabotage. Mm-hmm. And with 3 different singers, of course, with the original and the Zach. And then there was a young man for a little while that sang on there, but I don't even think I ever heard him on an album. But they sound just as good live as their albums. But, that's neither here nor there. Huge fan of Sabotage. Again, we go into that. But let's do a little bit of history on the band because when I was reading the bio, it says Reborn in Virginia. So the question is going to come up because this will you probably answer this 1,000 times. This will be 1,001 if you don't mind. How did KuF wind up in Virginia? What does Reborn mean?
Reborn means, well, KuF originally was back in the late 90s and re-released an album and played quite a bit around the coast, around Vancouver, Calgary, and even down in the US here. We played down the coast, and just over time we ended up breaking up and we all kind of went our separate ways. I went on, did my own things for quite a long time, and then hence later, about 12 years ago, I moved to Virginia here, and then I just wanted somebody to jam with after a while. So I was kind of put up an ad, and we're in a smaller place, and Kirk answered. So we thought, okay, we're going to jam and just drink some beer, have some fun. And so that's what we did off the start. And then we thought, okay, well, this is kind of fun. Maybe we need to play some more of the old catalog, so this way, because we don't do covers. And started jamming that, and then he said, oh, maybe we need a bass player. So then we got a bass player, and then after that we said, maybe we need a singer. Okay, let's start writing songs. So then it just ended up being, so that was kind of a KuF Reborn. It wasn't really intentional. It just flowed that way. Yeah.
It's like 2 years of being pregnant, Diego.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a long commitment to seeing this thing birth out. But, so being that music is the way it is, musicians, they tend to come and go. I'm not talking about KuF, but I'm talking about when a lot of you have experience probably playing in other bands, and which finally you have the perfect formula now with what you have now. Prior to KuF, where were you guys playing? I know you talk about Canada, but Kirk and Dan in the Virginia area, what bands were you playing in that area, around that time?
You want to go, Dan?
No, you take it away, Kirk. My story is simple. Yours is quite fun.
Yeah, mine gets a little complex at times, but I'll try to keep it down. I started playing when I was young. I won't say what year because, anyway. But in the early 90s, I was playing clubs in San Luis Obispo, California, because that's where I grew up, San Luis Obispo County, California. And we got to open up for some big bands like Corrosion of Conformity and some other things. And so then I joined the military after that because it was just going nowhere. I'm working, after the shows, I'm packing up my drums and going to work because I'm a baker. And I've been working since I was 15. So I joined the military. And in the military, I played in some bands here and there, cover bands. And then in Utah, after I got out of the Navy, I played in a cover band for a while. We played a lot of clubs, and it was fun. And I got paid for the first time. But wanted to do original stuff again, and I was itching. And that's when I saw Todd's ad. And so it was a chance to play original music again and do my own thing, do things my way, as opposed to trying to imitate somebody. I don't like that. I replaced a really great drummer in '91 in this local band in San Luis Obispo called Oedipus Rex. This kid was a whiz, and I couldn't touch what he did, but I knew what it was like to try to replace somebody really good and do my own thing and make it my own, So yeah.
So Diego, I've been playing bass many, many years, and then I came across the ad that Todd had out. I found it on Musicians Network on Facebook, and I figured it's a good chance to fail at something. I've been playing in a little jazz workshop, and just grinding away on the practice time and all that stuff, just developing. And so I answered Todd's ad and Kirk's ad. They were looking for a bass player. I went and tried out. I think the first audition was kind of the second was probably the exact same, but I think over time they ran out of options and hired me on. So, I literally waited them out. Okay.
Yeah, he won. Yeah, he beat us.
Yeah, but no, I've been in rock bands, heavy metal bands. I took a break, went into some jazz kind of stuff, and then just a lot of jamming with just friends. No real script, no real anything. It was just jam sessions, and that's pretty much my story. These guys have a lot more performing, resume than I do, but it's all in the art of the instrument, if you will.
I think my first one was 13 or 14, so yeah. Live.
I did that too.
Never stopped.
Kid club or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, so we have a pretty illustrious background, probably different influences as far as bands or musicians are concerned. Well, here's one of the questions, and we talked about it earlier as well. I haven't been to King George area. I'm gonna say something by the late '90s, early 2000s, back in my wrestling days. But like metal and hard rock in Virginia is kind of weird. It comes in waves. where Richmond had a pretty good scene. Then I think in '90s or early 2000s, was death metal was a huge thing. Northern Virginia, it comes and goes, but when I hear King George, it's out there.
Oh yeah.
And although I have nothing against it, I love being isolated, going out somewhere, and I'm sure it's grown since then. But how does KuF fit in the area?
We don't really, but the thing is we're so close to Washington, we're so close to Baltimore, Richmond. We're kind of right in between all of them, so it makes it easier for that way too. But around here, not really. You got Fredericksburg, you can play some gigs around there and stuff like that. There are a few local bands, but a lot of them are cover bands, right? So I mean, you play cover songs, you get to play. You play originals, well, you take what you can get.
Yeah, that's what King George feels like to me, like San Luis Obispo County in the '90s, where we're kind of the outlaws. Hard rock and metal is the outlaw, and as it should be, right? Because that's when
it's supposed to be.
So,
Yeah, King George is essentially a suburb of DC now. So I even know people. I'm actually in Maryland. I'm about 30 minutes from DC. So it's literally become a suburb. And then I think the band's Good Charlotte. They came about 20 miles north in Charles County, out of the Waldorf area. So it's really not the boondocks that it used to be, especially after they just added the new bridge there.
Yeah, it's just all.
Oh,
that's all buildings.
That's terrible. The same thing's happening here with the farms. I still see cows here, but the tentacles of Northern Virginia and DC are very long.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the military for 20 years, so everywhere I lived, I saw that. And in California, where I grew up, they used to be all farms, not anymore.
Yeah, we have a few left, but it's just like anything. I guess I have to go move further west. I was going further south. I actually got as far south as Stafford. And then once Stafford became a mega town, it became, it's like, well, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to the mountains. But here I am, and talking in background, talking about musicians playing cover tunes. And that's kind of a big thing. People want to hear the hits, but I think how often can you hear the very same songs played by different people? And the reason I asked this is because as musicians, you don't always start playing your own stuff. You may learn other people's songs and then grow from there. Going back to the time machine, to the time where we were much younger, what was the very first cover song from note to note, start to finish, that you first learned? So I'll start with you, Todd. What was the first song you learned?
The very first one. Jeez. Probably the first ones were ones we started gigging with right away at school. So I would have to say AC/DC, maybe TNT. I remember doing some Priest song. It was probably what's the standard one for Priest?
Living After Midnight.
Living After Midnight. There you go. That those were the beginning. I mean, that's how the guys I was with, because we're all new. Those were just easy songs for us to get our foot in. But it didn't last long before we started already writing originals. So I've never really, I can't do cover from start to finish because I change it up too much, and I just can't be bothered trying to get something perfect that somebody else did already. It's like wasted energy to me. And it's like they already perfected the song. Why do I gotta spend hours and hours trying to perfect a song that was already done? So that's why for covers I all to them. I mean, you get paid if you want to play and get paid. That is the ticket, but just not my ticket.
When I was about 8 or 10, I forget what it was, but there was a guitar laying around my friend's house, and he taught us Cat Scratch Fever. Okay, A B C. That's all that is. All right. That's before I actually got my hands on a bass, and then my mom bought me a $200 bass. It was a Quest Black Magic, and the first lick I've learned was Iron Maiden Killers, because that's the song my brother was learning because he was actually joining a band. And then the first song I actually worked on my own was Into the Coven on Merciful Fate's Melissa album. So I had my bass teacher transcribe that for me, and that's the song I started out learning, first song.
I was pre-metal days, honestly. Actually, okay, I'll give away the number. I joined my first band in '81, and it's because we were all Beatles fans, and we played Beatles songs. So I played covers in some form or another for 10 years before I joined my first original band, which was Oedipus Rex. So I could do both. What I learned is the Van Halen and Bonham way of doing it. Just make it your own. Don't try to play like somebody else.
Yeah, you know, I used to go to shows a lot, and I took a break. I started going again. Back in that day, I saw a lot of cover bands, and I liked them. You know, I enjoy live music. It's just the way it goes. I don't know if it still happens now. Back then, there's always some a-hole in the audience that says, "Play Freebird." They still do that.
Of course, man.
I think it depends on what area.
You ain't dead yet. That's go away when we all die.
Well, it's funny because we were laughing about that at band practice, where you know, for me it was always because Canada's hard rock. It is a very hard rock country, and I'd always get asked AC/DC constantly. You know any AC/DC?
That I can live with. Freebird, no.
No, AC/DC.
And you know, talking about Canadian bands, you know, Canada has a lot of great metal acts that come out of there, and also Canada's known for pro wrestling. Big fan of Bret Hart and all that time. But 3 bands that I really liked from in Canada, and I still play them today. And I actually have some of the vinyls I'm getting ready to put up on the wall. So one was Annihilator. I'm going to end the interview now. I'm sorry. I might disqualified. But yeah, you know, Annihilator.
Yeah.
Killer Dwarfs.
I remember Killer Dwarfs.
And one of my favorite speed metal bands back in the day, Exciter. Those are the 3 always in heavy rotation. And so...
although, Todd, you know my favorite from Canada.
Oh, Kick-Axe? And Annihilator, we used to share the same rehearsal spot with Jeff back in the 90s, early 2000s. We used to share a spot with Jeff.
Killer Bacon's a really good Canadian band too. I'm just I'm making shit up, Diego. I know Killer Bacon.
I almost bought it though. You sounded legit when you were saying it.
I'm sorry.
No. Trust me. Listen, I'll get into some of these jokes. I got like 1,000 dad jokes for you afterwards. Okay. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But one of the things we're gonna segue here real quick. The band's mission, and one of the things I've noticed that you're all very proud of your music. You love the hard rock and metal scene.
Yep.
And in a world now that we live in, it used to be cut and dry when I was growing up. You were a metalhead, you listen to rap, you listen to pop. But it seems like everything, even like country music, is pop now. And things, I don't know. I'm not gonna say maybe it's my age showing, but one of the things I really like about what you say is, you know, why rock matters, why it still matters to this day. And you made that your mission. What made that your mission?
Well, it's just it was. I think that was another reason why I put out an ad for a drummer. You know, it's like I wasn't planning on forming any band again, but I think a lot of the things in the music scene were kind of really starting to piss me off, and that was where rock and roll, hard rock, metal especially, has really changed, and it has almost become pop. Um, Drum replacements and there's no live feel to it, and everything's cut and paste, and it sucked the life out of it. And I was like, wait a minute, that's not what rock and roll is. It's like, you hear those screw ups in your music. You hear it gives it life, and I'm finding it very lifeless. So that's, I think, what we're no apologies for. If they try and put us to a grid while recording or anything like that, it's like, no, leave it. I know it'll sound different than what you're hearing right now, but we not going to go that road, because there's 10,000 other bands that are fighting for that same sound, and it's like, it's not rock and roll. It's always been rebellious and doing what you want to do, not conforming to things like that. So we don't care.
And kind of to what Todd says, is it's also, it doesn't have to be totally refined like a symphony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's allowed to push the envelope. It's allowed to push creativity, and it's allowed to experiment in different things. It may pass or fail. It may be popular or unpopular, but it may be popular in 10 years from now, not like the day it happens. But it allows the flexibility and creativity, and whatever your art form is, drums, bass, keyboards, doesn't matter. So it allows creativity and expansion of yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is we're all older now. We all have families, careers, stuff like that. So we're not gun-ho to like, okay, well, this band had this hit. We got to make one that sounds like that and do that. And I just find you lose your identity. You don't get an identity. And when you don't kind of give a shit, right? When you don't care, well, if people like it, great. If they don't, whatever. As long as we like it and enjoy what we're doing, and if people are enjoying it, great, come for the ride. But we're not going to, like Final Deceit is doing great for us right now. One of our strongest songs we've done, our most complicated one. But we're not going to say, okay, we have to write another one like that. If it happens, it happens. But we'll go with our gut.
My favorite albums have always been the transition ones, like Queen's, like Rage for Order, going from The Warning to what was the one after it? But anyway, Rage for Order, or Van Halen, Women and Children First. Where bands are transitioning because they're reaching, they're trying as musicians, they're trying things and developing, and that's what we're doing. And that's why I was so stoked when Todd came with Final Descent and what's the new one called again? Two totally different.
Sleep with the Dead.
Yeah, and two totally different feels than what people would expect us to do. Yeah. Just like Led Zeppelin or a Queen album back in the day. It was all kinds of music. There's no rules. Just make music. Just be creative.
Yeah. It's like we're working on it. We're going to be releasing the song soon. Anyways, that's one Kirk's talking about. But we already have another one that we're working on, and it is totally different. It is almost old school, right? It's like fast. It's fast, and it's just, compared to some of the other ones, it might not have commercial appeal, but we don't care. It's just what we're going to do, and we're going to release it.
We're going to do what Dan wants us to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no, that's you're going to go bankrupt. You don't want to do that. But
oh yeah, that's right. It's what I want to do. Yeah.
But it's interesting you mentioned about the live feel, or doing the hits or going through the motions, because that's going to show on your live performances. If you're writing songs that your heart and soul's into it, it's going to translate to the audience. They're going to feel that energy, and it's going to expand from there. I mean, right. I don't know now what's radio friendly rock or not. I think the scene's too complicated now to really pinpoint. Back in the 80s, it was kind of easy. You had a couple radio friendly, and then you had your power ballad, and that was a little bit of a formula back then. Right now, not so much, in my opinion. At least I'm not noticing it right now.
I'm finding a lot of them. They are in a sense, I mean, there's a lot of sampled work and stuff like that, that they got so much stuff added into their things that when they perform in live, they need backing tracks, you know, and we're still, it's like, yeah, have a sample if you need to trigger something, a sound or an effect or something like that. But when you need a full, you know, backing system because you got so much layers on your thing, how are you gonna, you know, people are gonna come see you live and they're gonna go, oh, the album sounds way better, you
And
know.
that's why their energy is off, because they're on the. You got to be on the click, and you got to be on.
You got the yep, and yep,
And
exactly.
there's places in the songs when we're recording that Todd needs to turn off the click tracks because the timing somewhat changes.
Yep.
So, and that happened on Final Descent. Am I right, Todd?
Yeah.
We had to get the click track out of there on a centerpiece of it because the middle part of the song was not necessarily with the click. And I think the new song has the same thing.
The new one, yeah.
6/4. Yeah. 3.
Yeah,
3,
well,
4,
that was the thing. Yeah, that one I gave. We had to alter it quite a bit, like the click track, to match what we were doing. You know, because we just use a click as when we're recording, not to stay in time to make it easier to edit, but just so we don't end up with a runaway train, you know, like such a massive speed difference. But you will hear fluctuations in our timing in our songs, and we prefer it that way.
And it goes along with the feel of the theme of the song, so it's quite intentional. Not to keep it, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You know, it'll bleed off a little bit and spread out a little bit, like midstream or like at the beginning or something like that.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting.
But we do have to have it because Kurt gets out of control sometimes.
Kurt's out of hand. He's out of hand.
Well, I think the very first one was Dance of Deceit. When we did that one, we thought, oh, great, this is awesome. And Kirk had his drums going, and it's like, oh my God, this song goes really, really fast. It started at normal speed to like Roadrunner speed, and it's like, okay, we might have to throw this one on a click and redo it, you know. And we were still off, but
although there was a couple where I was complaining how slow I had to play.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so slow.
Well, it gives you a little time to catch your breath before you go out there and do your thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, you got to hit those things. I don't like drummers who don't hit things.
And so you're not care to hit things. That's why we like you, man. We love you like that. But now, with the live feel of your music, brings me to the next question. The landscape of playing live shows have changed, especially since 2020. Well, and when COVID hit, I believe, what was it, the end of 2020, was it, or 22, whatever it was.
Yeah.
A lot of clubs either went back or went out of business. They're no longer around. Unless there's arena shows or they're doing the fests, I've noticed the most unusual places now have bands play. So, for instance, I don't know what state it was. There's a surf shop that have bands play, punk bands play. We have, in fact, up here in Martinsburg, across town, there is a arcade place, a pretty big place, but they had metalcore night, or they'll have a death metal night. So it's not the common thing it was back then. The clubs or of course, the arenas. Where have you guys found to play? What kind of venues are you playing nowadays?
Wow, right now, without a singer, we're not playing any.
Oh,
See, right. So we had, for all the songs, we had Allie Twilly, she was in the band, but then it was just, you know, complications of scheduling and she couldn't do a lot of the promotion and stuff like that. So she took a step back, but continued to record with us. So, and that's with her. So then we couldn't do live because we were using her vocally. And right now we're actively looking for a singer specifically so we can start doing live and get out there.
Yeah, because we're getting a lot of people from around the world, around the country,
Come play.
Yeah. So
One of those.
So if you know somebody, Diego.
One of the, a couple of those are worth mentioning. Scotland, Germany. I think there's some requests to come over there and play that we were discussing last night, and then Chicago, I think, is another venue with
Chicago, Detroit. Like once we get going, it's not going to be an issue. It is just finding that person that can do the live with us. And like you said before, sometimes location's a pain in the ass finding that perfect, because we're just not going to take we're not going to take just anybody to sing for us. They have to elevate us. They are the focal point. So
I was actually going to ask you about that. Since you're looking for a new singer, I was going to ask you, what are you looking for in a singer? You mentioned one part there, but as far as style, what are you looking for? What would fit best for the band?
What fits best for the band? It is, I think, attitude. They are the front person. They got to be an entertainer. They obviously got to be able to sing, but we really want to start doing some live and stuff. So we need that front person that stands out, that and is a bit cocky. Tell me a singer that isn't cocky.
It's going to be range involved, right?
Range, yeah. It's always
attitude,
range,
as you said, chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the music is. It's heavy. It's like it sits in your chest. When you do hear it, okay, or you crank it up in your truck. So it's got to kind of accentuate the whole kind of attitude of the music, I would say. Is that a fair assessment, fellas?
Yeah, and not just somebody looking to do something while they try and elevate their solo careers or anything like that, right? We need some dedication to it. Somebody that's going to get out there and promote us too. The three of us splitting everything. Well, it's a lot, especially nowadays. So much media stuff to do, and it's just asinine how much you have to do. So divvying up, is a lot nicer that way. But then if you get people that just want to come in and, let's say, sing and not do something, well, that's not going to help us out, right? We need somebody like that.
They got to be able to sing clean, like Final Descent.
Yeah.
And then sing with growl and distortion in their throat for something like I'm Not Dead, right? So you got to be able to belt it out.
And then be able to go all over the place like on Quicksand. you got to be quite skilled to do that song.
Yeah, well, that's the one that we give to people to try out with Quicksand, because when Allie did that, she found that the toughest song vocally, challenging for her to do, and just because of the range of it. So there's like, okay, well, that's a good testing ground for singers, and I've had some singers where we sent the song, they're like, yeah, and they'd go try and say, yeah, I can't do this. I was like, well, it was worth the try, at least. You won't know until you try it.
So versatility is the main point there. You got to be able to hit the notes at whatever speed, whatever song you guys have out there. And you were talking about you're not playing live, and you've been hearing and getting emails from places around the world that want to bring KuF to play where they're at.
Yeah.
What other locations or areas in the world that might be strange that you're getting fan mail from or attention?
Brazil's one.
Brazil. Yeah. Brazil's pretty strong with us. Italy, in a way, like the magazines from Italy and all that. That's that one was never on my radar before, but it's like, okay, there's a lot of metalheads there. A lot more than I expected. Yeah.
Mexico. Shit, where else, Todd?
Yeah. Although, like
Scotland, Germany, we discussed last night, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But we're played all over, and yeah. I that's the thing. I don't know what kind of demand, just because somebody wants us to play doesn't mean that there's going to be more than 5 people there. It's just
That's
you
right.
never know. I mean, I've done gigs like that before, so played hundreds and I've played to 5, so you just never know.
That's kind of you're playing the lottery there sometimes, where the venues that you go, and whether it's 5 or 500 or 5,000, you're still going to play with the same intensity anyway. So, and plus it gives you a little more practice to move on to the next day and all that. So now, I know we're almost over halfway through the year, July, and I know you guys are very busy. You mentioned it probably earlier. What do you have coming up? I know waiting on the singer, but I know you're working on these tracks, you're working on the songs. Any secret projects going on? What's coming next for KuF?
And while we have our single, we got music that's completely done. It's just got to drop some vocals on it, ship it to the mixer, and it's out there. So even though that we don't have the singer, we decided it's not going to stop us. We're always going to keep moving forward. They're going to have to jump in, right? We're not going to just stop things and say, okay, we'll take a break to sort this out, to sort that out. It's like, no, we're just continue writing, continue go forward, and when we find that person, they're just going to have to jump in.
Yeah, we got one song almost finished. I'm going to be recording the drums for another one in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll start prepping for the follow-on song after that, for probably the month after that. And just keep going. Just keep going.
Keep going. And also too, we do have some songs that are just not KuF material. Like it doesn't fit into the it's too far out of what we are and what we write. But we don't throw it away. So we decided, okay, we now are having a new band name. And Kirk, what?
Banana Hammock Orchestra.
You're to hear first.
Yeah, and that is good. That is all of our weird stuff, like different, like stuff that might be almost dated or just a different feel. We're going to record it anyways and release it. And we have a couple of them already. So, and that's another. So that's our side project is us. We have our own side project.
It's all good.
I got some merchandise ideas already for the banana hammock project we got going on here. So we'll talk about that on the post show. But anyway, so now before we go,
let's not talk about it.
Oh, we're not? Okay.
not banana hammocks, but
first rule of Fight Club.
We can talk about other music.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I didn't agree to that, by the way. That's on the record.
Oh, you were recruited for that.
Maybe I wasn't invited either, but
I threw out 5 names when we talked about it like a while back, and as soon as I saw that one, I was like, "There we go."
Yeah, so you actually have to blame Kirk. It wasn't me. I just agreed to it because it's like whatever. It's not something we're really going to super promote anyways, so whatever.
I'm gonna get a trademark on it quick. By the time when this episode drops, people hear it, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna take that idea." So you gotta protect your assets, my friend, especially when it comes to banana hammocks. So now for the magic question that we've all been waiting for, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I'm not that kind of guy, but I am today. For our friends and listeners of Bonus Overdrive Wednesday, they want to learn more about KuF, your music, where to get it. Where can they go find out?
We are on like every band now. You're on every streaming platform there is. But all of our merch, everything. I mean, if you need any information, you just go to our webpage at kufband.com. And we have merch there. We have everything's there. Even if
merch.
Yep. And even if you like a certain streaming platform or whatever, all links are there. So
so it's on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
Yep. We got all that.
Vinyl. I love vinyl. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then, well,
so-
you held up the "I'm Not Dead." You mind putting that up real quick again, if you don't mind? That's
It's a real
exactly the song we're going to take this episode home with. So, for our friends that want to learn more about that song and what it means to you, can you tell us more about that song and what it means to the band? I'm Not Dead.
I'm not
Sorry.
dead. Tom, you guys can start it. Go
I'll
for it. What
start
it
it.
means
Want
to
me to
you.
start it? Yeah,
I know.
because that's one of the first songs I learned. They had a different bass player on that recording.
Yeah, he
that
passed.
had Final Descent. Guy since passed away, R.I.P. Chris is his name, right? I don't know his last name. So, but he very decent bass player, very good bass player. I thought this when I first heard it, because I started listening to the old KuF material, the 2001 KuF material first, and I was like, holy shit, this stuff's really good. And how'd they miss? And I was just curious about that. And then I got to the new stuff, and I think I'm Not Dead was one of your first recordings coming out for the Reborn KuF. That was the third one. Okay.
That was the third one.
Yeah. In any event, I thought it was kind of cool, because here I am 50 plus years old joining a heavy metal band. That's stupid, right? But the I'm Not Dead kind of said, neutralize that, like baking soda with acid. And I'm like, all right, we're good. So I kind of felt like it was like, you're as old as you want to be type of thing. If you want to like, mature yourself into oblivion, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to keep doing the passions and keeping your passions alive as you go through age, and damn with age, just keep going, keep rolling. I mean, don't live every day like it's your first day and your last day at the same time.
Right. And it doesn't pertain to just, music or the song itself. It's for anything in life. And I have to say it is one of our only songs that is straightforward lyrically that way, where everybody can take that meaning and it means the same thing, where a lot of the other songs, you hear such different versions of what that person has interpreted it. And I'm Not Dead is actually our only song that is not like that is straightforward, and it really paints a picture, of exactly what Dan said.
Awesome. Some great motivation already. I'm gonna play it again tonight right before I go to bed. Gentlemen, I really appreciate you coming here on your busy day. I know you got a lot of things to do, and you're on bonus Overdrive Wednesday. And once the live show starts, you guys aren't too far from me.
Yep.
I'm gonna go out there and check it out. I am not hard to miss. Trust me. When I walk in, there's like, that's that guy. Trust me.
That's that guy.
I'm that guy. But
Diego, that would be incredible if you showed up.
oh, I would love to. Count me in, brother.
We'll have 6 people at that point. So
Yeah.
I'll be number 7, lucky number 7.
Oh,
Oh no, thank you, gentlemen, for being on bonus Overdrive Wednesday. This is KuF with I'm Not Dead on bonus Overdrive Wednesday. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Echoes of a silent roar tearing up the air. Lost in the intensity, music takes me there. Grit in every syllable, a voice that's raw and real. A thunderous symphony, that's all I wanna feel. Drums roll like a warning sign. Fists up in the sky. Rhythms of a rebel's heart, as loud as I defy. Yeah, I feel the need to scream. Yeah, 'cause I'm not dead already. Feel the fire, the beat shakes my core. Music fills my desire, we're crashing through the floor. Sweat dripping, crowd roaring, not alone tonight. This music always makes us feel alright. In the chaos there is peace. The noise town where silence meets a scream in the maelstrom of the empire bleeds. The hearts align with every thunderous beat. Thrashing in the surge, we reach for pain.
All content on this broadcast is a property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster, or Bonus Overdrive Wednesday. The information shared on Bonus Overdrive Wednesday is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.